Good day, everyone. I am Jivian Cordizar of Binada, together with Angelica Faye Suico Valle and Aliyah Marie Cabral Velez. We are going to discuss political self in understanding the self. So here are reflective questions. Why is it easy for some people to convince others to follow them? It is because there are people or those people are good at communicating. In that case, they can easily say and explain whatever they want to tell to people and let those people give feedbacks about it. Another reason is that convincing others to follow is about the willingness and the confidence in doing it. Like for example, a class president. That student is willing and confident that he or she could lead the class, and that is a one factor that allows him or her to convince the whole class to follow. Also, there are just some people who are already equipped with the right skills for it. Second question is, why is it easy for some people to get convinced? So let's talk about us Filipinos. It is easy for some of us to get convinced because most of us have the mindset of giving respect to others or to people. That is one of our cultures that make some of us get easily convinced. Also, we have that masunurin trait that became one of the good reasons for us to get convinced to follow. Third question is, would a person's trait and values impact his political self? Why? Yes, it would. As what I have said about in the first question, convincing others is also about the willingness and the confidence. If a leader has not possessed the right trait, it will give a bad impact to his or her political self. Like for example, a leader of a group. If you were chosen to lead a certain group, you should have the confidence and you must have the willingness to lead. You also have to have the mindset of a leader, and you should value leadership because you will not do a good job in leading if you don't have those traits and values. Also, if you value power, then you are more likely to have a leadership position. What is political self? The political self explores how our social and economic context profoundly affects our mental health and well-being. It will be understood in the further discussion of this topic. What is politics? Politics is derived from the Greek word politika. It is also etymologically defined as affairs of the cities. Politics is about making decisions that applies to all members of the group. It is about governing and controlling over a group of people in community, state, and nation. It is also an ability to influence and convince people by making decisions for them. Morton Deutsch and Harold B. Girard in 1955 they studied and analyzed the motives of social influence and determined two types of it. Here are the two types of motives of social influence. First is normative influence, based on conforming to positive expectations of others, helps avoid punishment. In normative influence, you are likely forced to follow, to do a thing so that you will fit in and you will obey or satisfy the positive expectations of others so that you will not get judged by them and avoid punishment. Second, informational influence, based on accepting the information obtained from others as evidence of reality. In informational influence, like for example, the health professionals advise us to always wash our hands so we'll be hygienic, and we are not just doing it to please others. Thus, we are doing it because there are evidences represented that it will really help us if we keep doing it. Now, let's talk about leadership. According to Myers, leadership is the process by which certain group members motivate and guide the group. Let us say, for example, the family. Family is the smallest and simplest form of group. In a family, parents are the leaders. They are the individuals who first to motivate and guide the members of the family to do things that will do a good outcome. Leadership style. It is a pattern of leadership that is repeatedly shown as evident across a variety of situations. Just like in the family, the parents will observe the effective ways of how they guide the children that becomes their leadership style. Like for example, if their child did the wrong thing, they will ground him or her. And if that makes the child not to do the same mistake again, they will keep doing that strategy. Here are 3 leadership style classifications. Autocratic leadership is management style wherein one person controls all the decisions and takes very little inputs from other group members. Second, democratic leadership. It is a type of leadership style in which members of the group take more participative role in the decision-making process. Third, laissez-faire leadership. This leadership style means that subordinates and team members have the real lead. Leaders description. Transactional leaders, also known as managerial leadership, is a leadership style where the executive relies on rewards and punishments to achieve optimal job performance from his or her subordinates. Second, transformational leaders inspire positive changes to those who follow and likewise focus on helping the members to succeed as well. And third, laissez-faire leaders allows their employees or their members to use and show their own creativity, resources, and experiences to help them in meeting the goals. So we people have psychological needs according to David McClelland. First is the need for power. For example, if you want to lead the whole class, you have the need for power because you want them to follow you. Second, need for affiliation. It is about the need to please others and desire to be liked by them. Like for example, you dance and you do it so that more people will like you. And third, need for achievement. This is the need to reach the goals, and whatever we do, we totally have the desire to achieve it. 3 leadership motivation patterns according to Chan and Drasgo in 2001. First, affective identity motivation. The motivation to lead as a result of a desire to be charged and lead others. So affective identity motivation is about your desire to lead. Second, non-calculative motivation. Those who seek leadership positions because they will result in personal gain. So in non-calculative motivation, it is about your selfish gain to lead. Like for example, you want to be the leader of the research group so that you are the one who will get extra credits. Third, social normative motivation. The desire to lead out of a sense of duty or responsibility. So in social normative motivation, it is about leading because of their responsibility. Some may not like to lead because they are forced to do so because it is their responsibility. Like for example, the eldest child of the family. They are the expected ones to lead the others or the siblings. Even if they don't like to do it, they will just do it because it is their responsibility. Types of leaders according to path goal theory. First is instrumental. Leaders who plan and organize for their subordinates. So instrumental are the ones who organize things. Basically, they are the ones who give opportunities. Second, supportive. Leaders who show concern to their subordinates. Supportive leaders are the leaders who ask their subordinates, "How are you doing?" or "Are you happy with your job?" Third, participative. Leaders who allow subordinates to participate in decision making. Participative leaders always ask for suggestions. And the last one, achievement-oriented, sets challenges and rewards achievements. And that's all for my topic.
Let's go back to the time when Filipinos started to have unique values. Rethinking Filipino values from the perspective of Psikolohiyang Pilipino. Here is a question. Why do Filipinos do not like to sit in front or near the stage during events? During the colonial period, Filipinos are not allowed to sit in the front. The only people who are allowed to sit in the front or near the stage are the Spaniards who colonized us, the Filipinos. And because of that, it became our culture and became the attitude of the most Filipinos. Another reason is most of Filipinos have the characteristic of being shy. It's not the same with shame or guilt, but rather it is a sense of propriety. Hiya is translated roughly into English as shame or embarrassment. On a deeper level, it refers to one's sense of self, propriety, and respect. Filipinos may be more motivated to succeed by a fear of shame rather than fear of failing the task at hand. For example, when you meet your other relatives but you feel hiya and uncomfortable because it's your first time to meet them. Bahala na. Bahala na is not fatalism but it is risk-taking and determination. Bahala na is one of the most widely used phrases in the Philippines. Filipinos usually say bahala na when they are unable to decide their next course of action or when they have no idea what will happen next. They say this phrase as if all they want is to go with the flow, not minding what the outcome might be. Utang na loob. Utang na loob is not a debt or a burden. It is a gratitude and solidarity. Utang na loob, literally it translates to depth of one's inner self or depth of gratitude. Example, when a young adult sends monetary support regularly to their parents or relatives as a thank you for the times they were being supported. Pakikipagkapwa or the core value of the Filipino. Kapwa, ibang tao, hindi ibang tao. Pakikipagkapwa means that a person saw himself and that one who she considered as a kapwa. Kapwa means ibang tao, but not totally ibang tao. It means ibang tao because it talks about other person. Hindi ibang tao because it is you share your inner self. Like, for example, you consider all Filipinos as your kapwa because you and all the Filipinos share inner self, which are the threats, culture, traditions, and many others. According to Virgilio Enriquez, there is no such thing as not kapwa. Three main threats of Filipinos: family-oriented. The general definition of family-oriented means that a person puts their family and loved ones at the core of their priorities. Family-oriented people tend to focus on family values, draw strength from their family, lean on family in decision-making processes, and put their needs of the family ahead of their own. For example, when you have work, but you always give time for your family, you give time to eat with your family and to go where you want to be. Pakikipagkapwa-tao. Pakikipagkapwa-tao means relating to someone else as fellow human being. Filipino most evidently exemplify pakikipagkapwa-tao through the practice of bayanihan and the budol fight. The former is widely done in rural areas of the country when one person needs to accomplish a task, such as moving house. For example, the whole community pitches in to help. And budol fight. The latter is the dining practice where large groups of people eat together with their hands but no utensils. This was initially done in the military as a way of their higher-ranking officials to show unity with their troops. Pakikipagkapwa-tao helps people of fostering solid communities and families that look out for one another. It gives Filipinos assurance that during times of hardship, they can rely on the people around them for help. Mapagmahal. Mapagmahal means loving. When you love your community, love your parents, love your family, and the people around you. That's all.
Good day, everyone. I am Alea Marie Cabral Velez, and I am going to report my part about the political self. How do politics influence the self? It develops our leadership skills, even to ourselves. We develop our governing to ourselves, like for example, controlling and guiding ourselves and also to other people. There are 4 tips to help you begin building your political self. To begin with, you must build your network. Build it with many different groups, both inside and outside of the organization. Next, you must listen deeply. Be genuinely interested in your network and listen deeply. Next is be confident, respect of others and yourself. And lastly is connect the dots. There are also 6 skills in order to develop these behaviors and improve your political self. Number 1 is hone your powers of perception. Socially astute managers are good at reading people's nonverbal behaviors and can intuitively sense the motivations of others. By being more perspective of yourself and others in social situations, you can improve your self-awareness and better interpret others' behaviors. Number 2 is practice influence. Those who are effective at exerting interpersonal influence on others build strong interpersonal relationships through establishing good rapport, communicating well, and getting others to like them. Number 3 is learn to network effectively. Leaders who possess a strong networking ability build friendships and beneficial working relationships by garnering support, negotiating, and managing conflict. Number 4 is think before you speak. Leaders with political savvy have impulse control. They tend to choose their organizational battles wisely and size up situations before deciding how to represent ideas to others. Number 5 is manage up to a point. Leaders need to be able to skillfully communicate with their bosses, higher-ups, and so on. But political savvy also involves maintaining good relationships with people at all levels in the organization. And lastly, number 6 is be sincere. Politically skilled individuals display high levels of integrity, authenticity, sincerity, and genuineness. They are or appear to be honest, open, and forthright, inspiring trust and confidence. There are also 3 hypotheses that would be strongly related to political identity. First is symbolic ideology and party identification. Second is operational ideology. And last is need for closure and issue positions. And that would be all. Thank you.